Welcome back to Second Gear with Debbie. I'm your host, your running coach, and your nutrition specialist, here to help you navigate menopause, not just survive it, but thrive through it. In our last episode, we delved deep into Dr. Lisa Mosconi's groundbreaking book, The Menopause Brain, understanding how estrogen's decline can lead to an energy crisis in our brain, impacting everything from brain fog to mood. Today, we're building on that vital knowledge by exploring another revolutionary book that offers powerful solutions for fueling our brains and our bodies. Dr. Georgia Eads, Change Your Diet, Change Your Mind. And this book has really challenged my thinking. And I know it's going to spark some really important ideas for you too. So let's lace up our mental running shoes and get ready to learn how what we eat can profoundly impact how we feel, think, perform, especially in this powerful stage of midlife. First off, who is Dr. Georgia Ead? And she's not any nutritionist. She's a Harvard-trained, board-certified psychiatrist, a psychiatrist who focuses on nutrition. Dr. Ead is a pioneering voice in a field called nutritional and metabolic psychiatry. What this means is that she uses dietary and metabolic interventions as a primary tool to help people with mental health conditions. She was actually the first psychiatrist at Harvard to offer nutritional consultations as an alternative to psychiatric treatment. Her book really challenges a lot of the dietary wisdom that we've been taught for decades. Her core premise is radical yet simple. What you eat directly impacts your brain chemistry, your mood, your memory, and your overall mental health. She argues that many common dietary recommendations, especially those emphasizing processed foods and certain carbohydrates, can actually be detrimental to our brain's well-being. So instead, she advocates for a more biologically sound and nutrient-dense whole food approach to fuel our most vital organ, our brain. And this is huge for us here at Second Gear because so many of us experience brain fog, anxiety, irritability, and those energy dips during menopause. And Dr. Ead's book offers a powerful lens through which to view these challenges. Let's break down some of the most impactful themes. Firstly, she emphasizes that food is not just calories, it's information. Every single bite you take sends complex instructions to your body and your brain. She really highlights here how ultra-processed foods and refined sugars, or what I like to call brain junk food, send chaotic and damaging signals to the brain. And this just leads to dysfunction in our brain city. Imagine giving your brain city's power grid only cheap and unstable fuel. It's just not going to run optimally. And secondly, she makes a very strong case for the deep connection between your metabolic health and your brain health. So insulin resistance and the brain. Remember how we talked about Dr. Mosconi's energy crisis in our brain city due to estrogen decline impacting glucose usage? Dr. Ead adds another layer to this. She explains how the brain itself can become resistant to insulin. Think of insulin as that delivery truck that brings the glucose fuel into your brain. If your brain cells become insulin resistant, those delivery trucks can't get the fuel to where they need to go efficiently, regardless of how much fuel is available. And this leaves your brain's factories struggling for power. Even more so for us, where estrogen is no longer helping those power plants as much. Inflammation. Dr. Ead shows us how the common modern diet, particularly those high in processed foods and unstable fats, can drive chronic inflammation through your body, including your brain. Chronic inflammation is like a constant low-grade fire, damaging delicate brain cells and impacting mood and cognition. Your brain's emergency services are constantly overwhelmed. Nutrient deficiencies. She highlights why true nutrient density is critical. Our brain city needs specific building blocks and resources. When we consume food that's calorie rich but nutrient poor, we starve our brain of the essential vitamins, minerals, and fatty acids needed to produce neurotransmitters, build healthy cell membranes, and protect us against damage. And then thirdly, Dr. Ead boldly challenges the controversial food pyramid and many mainstream dietary recommendations. She critiques the heavy emphasis on grains and certain plant-based fats, arguing that for many individuals, those can be problematic due to anti-nutrients or anti-inflammatory properties. Instead, she advocates for what she calls biologically appropriate diets, often leading towards lower carbohydrates, ketogenic, or even animal-based, sometimes referred to as carnivore approaches. But do not fear, I'll cover those different diets in other episodes, or 2 or 3, depending on how many we need. What's important to understand is that Dr. Eid is saying that not everyone must eat a certain way. Instead, she's presenting a spectrum of dietary approaches that prioritize nutrient density and minimize things that are harmful to the brain. Her core message here is fuel your brain with what it truly evolved to thrive on. Now, one of the key dietary approaches that she frequently discusses is the ketogenic diet. I'm sure you've heard of it, but in simple terms, a ketogenic diet is a way of eating that's very low in carbohydrates, moderate in protein, and high in healthy fats. The goal here is to shift your body's fuel source from burning glucose or sugars to burning fat, which then produces molecules called ketones. When your body starts efficiently using ketones for fuel, especially in your brains, you're in a state called ketosis. She also dives into the why this is so beneficial for your brain health. So if you think back to our brain city's energy crisis, when insulin resistance sets in, making it hard for glucose to get into the power plants, ketones offer an alternative, very efficient and clean burning fuel source for your brain cells. They can bypass some of those glucose delivery issues and also have powerful anti-inflammatory effects, helping to put those smoldering fires out in our brain city. When you're following a ketogenic diet, the focus is on foods that are high in healthy fats, provide adequate protein, and are very low in carbohydrates. Here are just a few common examples of ketogenic foods. Healthy fats and oils would be avocados, olive oils, extra virgin, coconut oil, butter, ghee, fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines, trout, tuna in oil. Eggs. Whole eggs are a keto staple, versatile and nutrient dense. Non-starchy vegetables, leafy greens, spinach, kale, lettuce, broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, asparagus, full-fat dairy, in moderation and if tolerable. Nuts and seeds, in moderation due to some carb content. The key is to select unprocessed versions of these foods and be mindful of hidden carbs in sauces and dressings and processed items. How does all of this directly connect to us, women navigating perimenopause and menopause, especially as runners? This is where Dr. Eid's work becomes incredibly powerful for our second gear journey. Brain fog and mood swings. These are two of the most complained about symptoms in menopause. Dr. Eid's insights into metabolic dysfunction and inflammation in the brain offer direct explanations for why we experience the frustrating brain fog, anxiety, irritability, and depression. If your brain's energy system is sputtering and it's on fire internally, how can you expect clarity and calm? Her dietary strategies aim to stabilize that energy and quell the inflammation. Energy and fatigue. We often talk about menopause fatigue, shifting your primary fuel source from glucose resilience to more stable fat adaptation, as often happens on a low-carb approach, can provide a more consistent, sustained energy supply to both daily life and your runs. So no more wild blood sugar swings leading to energy crashes. Weight management. Many women struggle with menopausal weight gain, often linked to shifting hormones and insulin resistance. Dr. Eid's emphasis on improving insulin sensitivity through dietary change can be a game changer for managing this aspect. Running performance and recovery. For us as runners especially, this is huge. Imagine your brain city suddenly having more consistent, cleaner energy. Fat adaptations for runners. Becoming more efficient at burning fat for fuels can extend endurance and reduce reliance on constant carb intake during longer efforts. Reduce inflammation. Less inflammation means faster recovery from tough workouts and potentially fewer aches and pains, keeping your joints and muscles happier. Mental clarity on runs. Say goodbye to hitting the wall mentally. A well-fueled, clear brain means better focus and determination during longer runs or challenging training runs. So crucial nuances for athletes. As a coach, I'd emphasize that for active women, ensuring adequate calorie intake, and critically, sufficient protein intake is paramount, regardless of carbohydrate levels. Dr. Ead's approach strongly supports high protein, which is fantastic for muscle maintenance and growth, and essential for us as we navigate age-related muscle loss. And we always need to feel smart around our workouts. So Dr. Ead's work essentially complements our early discussions on estrogen's role. If estrogen then is the manager in charge of your brain city, ensuring efficient power and communication and protection, then Dr. Ead is providing the manual for optimizing the city's fuels, supply, and maintaining its infrastructure to thrive even when the manager isn't always available. So what can you take away from Dr. Ead's book? My biggest advice is this: start by eliminating the brain junk food. Focus on cutting out ultra-processed food, refined sugars, and industrial seed oils. These are low-hanging fruits that almost everyone can benefit from reducing. Prioritize nutrient-dense whole food. Emphasize real unprocessed foods. Plenty of nutrient-dense animal products. Quality meat, fish, eggs, alongside a non-starchy vegetable. Experiment with carbohydrate levels. Consider thoughtfully reducing your intake of refined and starchy carbohydrates. Pay attention to how your mood, your energy, and your cognitive function respond. It's not necessarily about keto for everyone, but exploring where you feel best. Listen to your body. This is always paramount. Pay close attention to how different foods make you feel. Again, your energy, your mood, your recovery, your sleep. Your body is constantly giving you feedback. Consult your healthcare professional. As always, especially if you have underlying health conditions, you're on medication, or considering significant dietary shifts, please discuss this with your doctor or a registered dietitian, because your individual needs are obviously unique. So Dr. Ead's book is a call to empower yourself with knowledge about how profoundly your food choices impact your mental and physical vitality. It offers a roadmap to reclaiming your brain and your body, giving you the fuel you need to shift into your highest gear. And that brings us to the end of another episode of Second Gear with Debbie. Thank you for tuning in today. It's some light on what you're experiencing, giving you some answers, and most importantly, let you feel empowered and understood. Remember, you're not alone in this journey, and there are always ways to keep thriving. If anything we've discussed today resonates with you, or you learned something new that you think another woman would benefit from, please share this episode with her. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button to help us reach more women and build a vital community. Finally, I'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts, and if there's anything specific that you'd like to discuss. Your feedback means the world to me. Until next time, keep moving, keep thriving, and keep listening to your incredible body. If you're excited about keto, I've put together something special for you. There's a free downloadable PDF with a list of keto-friendly foods and a few bonus recipes to get you started. You can find the link and grab your copy in the show notes for this episode. Don't miss out.